duos, according to NFL.com, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. They find themselves coming in seventh. Dak threw a career-high 37 touchdowns a season ago, and of course, CeeDee became a Pro Bowler. Shannon, number 7. Is that ranking for Dak and CeeDee too high, too low, or just right?
Way too high, because I don't know what they've done last year to earn that ranking. I don't know what they've done since CeeDee's been in the league for them to earn that ranking, Skip. Dak was up and down last year. CeeDee started off well, and then he didn't finish very well. Here's CeeDee numbers in the second half of the season. The last 8 games, he had 0 touchdowns. He reached 70 yards 1 time in the last 8 games. 1 catch in the playoffs versus San Francisco. And you say you have them ranked in front of Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen, some of the guys that they're ranked in front of. First of all, I'm trying to figure out how Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson doesn't make the list when Jefferson has the most receiving yards in his first 3 years in NFL history. He had a 1,400 and followed up with 1,600, which was the second most behind Cooper Kupp.
They're called duos, and that means you have to include Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
Right? And
Skip,
so that
let me ask you a question. Who threw Justin Jefferson those balls to make him the most prolific receiver in his first 2 years?
This list is saying if he had a better quarterback, he'd be number 1, right?
But hold on. Well, who's this? I'm just looking at it like this. When I was looking at the list, I see Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, number 3. How? Nobody in the history of the game has had more catches, more yards in a single season than Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, Skip. I get it. I'm not saying Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, but this list is all over the place. And I do not see how Dak and CeeDee, given what I've just given you, 0 touchdowns. Okay, what kind of duo is that? 0 touchdowns. 1 game of 70-plus yards in the last 8. 1 catch in the playoffs. Okay, so what good is the duo? Hell, if Batman and Robin can't save anybody, if they can't keep Gotham safe, what the hell good are they? So, over Kyle and D-Hop, so you said, CeeDee, you said it yourself, that Dak and CeeDee did not have the rapport that Dak and Amari had. And somehow, they're ranked over Jefferson and Cousins, D-Hop and Kyler, Herbert and Allen? Nah, no, I can't get down with that.
Okay, I am far more sold on CeeDee Lamb than you are. And by the way, I have a CeeDee Lamb jersey on the way also, so you may be seeing some 88s this year, right between the eyes.
Okay.
This will be his breakout year. It's going to be all about 11 and 8 times 11, which is 88. Those are my 2 guys this year.
Oh, so you done with Dak. You done with Zach and Deke. What about Zeke's jersey? You got a Zeke jersey. You got a Dak jersey. What's
I don't know
up?
where they are. They're in mothballs, and the moths are eating both of them.
You're terrible.
Yeah,
You're terrible, man.
Okay. I'm a Cowboy fan. All right. So the point here is, before I launch on this, I'm going to agree with you about Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford because I look at targets last year in the league. Cooper Kupp had 191 balls thrown in his direction.
Yes.
That's 22 more than anybody else in the league. And he was catching just about all of them.
Yes.
He set records that may never be broken.
Second most catches, second most yards.
Yeah. And they're all thrown by Matt Stafford. So if we're talking about dynamic duo, if we're talking about Batman and Robin, and they did go win it all. Okay.
And we saw what they did in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, Skip, on the biggest stage in the biggest moment.
Okay. They have to be number 1 with a bullet. Like they should be a leaving the pack behind number 1. I don't get it. Jamar Chase caught what was the stat about the most deep balls last year? What wasn't it? I'll find it in just a second here.
Jamar Chase had an unbelievable season.
Yeah, Chase led the NFL with 7 deep receiving touchdowns. Okay, so I get that. And he did have it on the big.
Yes.
But they're not better as a duo than these two in LA. Okay, now back to my guys. Look, I'm going to defend Dak and CeeDee because, to your point, to my point, they weirdly have no natural connection. Sometimes, and we're about to talk in a few minutes about Baker and Odell.
Right.
I don't know what happened. They just didn't.
It didn't work.
I don't know why. Not on the same page. They connect off the field, but they don't connect on the field. I'm not sure that Dak and CeeDee connect off the field either.
Right.
It's not that they hate each other or have any issues. They just kind of go their separate ways.
Right.
And Dak loved Amari because Amari stopped on a dime for his routes. And,
Yeah.
and he loves his planets to be completely aligned, right in play.
Yeah.
If you will stop on that dime, I will hit you with that dime on time.
Right.
I'm going to do 5 steps, and the ball's going to be out of my hand, and you're going to catch the
Be
football.
where you're supposed to be, correct.
But I'm still reading reports about Amari. I read another one last night. They just couldn't trust him, especially on the road. Well, that started in 2019 when he was quitting on the road.
Right.
And that I read last night, one of the bigger reasons they got rid of him is they just couldn't trust his competitive motor in bigger games. Well,
that's why the Raiders got rid of him.
Okay, that's why. That Jared paid first-round pick for him because he was available, because John Gruden said, I don't want to coach that guy because I think you can't coach that guy. Well, so, okay, now it's CeeDee's time to shine. And it feels like, by all accounts, they are working on their rapport day and night in training camp.
Okay.
And it's going to be essential to however good they are on offense. But despite a lack of rapport last year, I'm going to defend these two because they ended up, it's body of work, right?
Yeah.
And we're mostly talking about regular season.
Yes.
But we'll include the postseason for Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford. But in this case, my team led the whole NFL in points scored.
Yeah.
Led the whole league. My team led the whole league in yards gained. In largest part, it wasn't because of Zeke, because Zeke was another 65 yards a gamer. It was Dak to CeeDee, who led the Cowboys in targets with 120 last year. Oh, wait a second. By 16, it was CeeDee Lamb. 16 more targets than Amari got. So something was going right. And who led the team in catches, and who led the league in yards gained, receiving yards gained? Who led across the board, except for receiving touchdowns? To your point, I don't know what happened. They just lost contact with each other down the stretch. Well, what happened to Dak down the stretch? He was horrible.
Yeah,
I can't defend him. I've been hard on him because he deserved for me to be hard on him.
Right.
Okay? But when I look at body of work, led the league in yards and led the league in points, it all revolves around this connection here.
But Skip, but you look at Dolph Schultz, had a career year. Amari Cooper might have had a down year, but he still had production. Cedric Wilson, the guy that you guys wanted back, he played really well. But since CeeDee Lamb has entered into the NFL, he has the 3rd most drops by a wide receiver. We've got to factor that in. And I'm saying, Skip, look, if you can say, I'm not sure that Dak Prescott is exponentially better than Kirk Cousins, no matter what you think about Cousins. All I'm saying is that he puts up numbers every single year. And Justin Jefferson is over 3,000 yards in 2 years. That's the connection. You can say, well, Cousins isn't that good. All I know is Justin Jefferson had over 1,600 yards, and he was 2nd in the league in receiving yards behind Cooper Kupp. Cousins did that. He threw the ball to him. Okay. How in the hell, based on that, are they not in the top 10, ranked behind? Kyle and D-Hop, we know the connection that they have. Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert. Every 3rd down, Herbert is looking for him. Hell, 4th down, because they go for more 4th down than anybody in the history of the game ever. But Skip, I can't get with this. There's no way that some of these, where these rankings are, and Pocket Hercules, Maurice Jones-Drew put his list together. But nah, this list is way off.